Welcome to this second edition of the live Q&A, featuring Yuval, Stephen, Sonya and Alyssa. It's great to have you here on the West East Europe Discord server. We're also live now across Facebook and YouTube, so hello to you guys as well. Now, we were blown away by the success of the last one. We had over 80 people watching live, and then another 500 of you tuned in after the event happened on the YY Westie and West Coast Swing YouTube channels to replay what happened in case you didn't make it live. Thanks so much for the support, feedback, ideas, questions and encouragement, plus John and PJ for taking part. Now, just a quickie with the rules. Number one, you're in luck. There's not a camera in sight. Apparently people are on toilets right now, not wearing bras and also not in pants. I'm not one to criticise. So no annoying webcams to worry about. Two, this is a politics-free zone for West Coast Swing and every other flavour. As there's plenty of places for that already, if you do kick off, we're just going to boot you off the server. Number three, please keep that mic muted, but don't be afraid to unmute it and ask a question. And if you don't fancy having your voice heard, you can always use the Q&A chat, which is going crazy right now. And four, finally, we're now watching YouTube and Facebook. And if you do ask a question via it, it may take some time to get it back to Yuval, who's asking those questions tonight. Now, this live is only going to last an hour or just over, so get your questions in early, because they're already coming in now. We have this chance with three top West Coast Swing dancers. Anyway, that's enough for me. I need to shut up. Yuval, it's over to you.
Thank you very much, Justin. Wow, we're already going crazy here in the chat. Cool. So there are two more people that I'd like to thank now. Poppy and Andy, you guys are the best team ever. Thank you so much for all your help. Really appreciate it. And thank you everyone so much for joining us now on all channels. That's like super exciting for me right now. And now to our guests that are joining us now. Let's welcome the white boy from Florida, Stephen White.
I'm actually waving at the screen, and I didn't realize that that's not going to work until I clicked unmute. So, hi.
That was the perfect introduction. Thank you, Stephen. And now, a very, very warm welcome to our frozen guest from Texas, Sonya Dessureault.
My Canadian roots are definitely keeping me warm through this icy Texas. Happy to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from California, it's Alyssa Glanville.
I'm so cold and it's sunny outside and I'm sitting here shivering and I have no reason to be shivering. But hi.
A pleasure to have you all here with us. Thank you so much for joining.
Of course.
So,
thank you for having us.
We'll start with some self-introduction. Alyssa, you go first. Tell our audience a bit about you and about your West Coast Swing career.
Yeah, okay. So hi, my name is Alyssa Glanville, and I've been an alcoholic. Wait, no, wrong one. I've been dancing West Coast Swing for a very long time. I started when I was 15, and I actually came from Lindy Hop and then ballroom first. And that is all of our interests. I should stop reading the chat. It's very distracting, but in the best of ways.
Stephen, stop. Stephen.
I started competing for West Coast when I was 15. I started teaching when I was probably around 17. Started traveling internationally when I was 19. And I've been doing that since. And yeah, it's amazing that West Coast became the career that I never expected, but it was a thing that turned into my dream job, but it wasn't necessarily the job that I dreamt up for a long time. So it was a really, really cool experience to have it turn into my career and then have it be the thing that got me to travel the world and get to know a lot of the people that are currently on this call and get to know people from all over the world and dance with people from all over the world. And it's just been a treat to get to know a lot of folks and dance with everyone.
So lucky us that we got to know you and got to watch you dance. Like, really.
Oh, thank you.
How about you, Steven?
Hi. Okay. Self-introduction. I always struggle with these because I'm like, what are people going to actually find interesting about me? Because I don't really find it all that interesting myself, other than the funny things. But I am Stephen White. Sonya. Yes, Sonya should do my introduction. I started professionally dancing when I was 18 with an internship at a ballroom studio. I did that for a couple of years. Through that ballroom studio, I found West Coast Swing because we took a trip to USA Grand Nationals. I spent a couple of years doing both. I eventually decided ballroom sucks because it's all about money, and I transitioned myself into an independent ballroom instructor so I could focus on West Coast Swing. I found myself a partner and started doing Rising Star. From Rising Star, I went to Classic. From Classic, I found a showcase partner. Did pretty well there. Won some things from Showcase. I injured myself, went back to Classic. I blame Sonya for that, by the way. Not really, but she was there when it happened over my head.
Okay, good to know that.
I think we have video evidence. And yeah, I teach, travel, drink rum, all that wonderful stuff. That's about it.
All together while you drive?
While I drive.
Kids, don't drink and drive.
I'm from Florida, so I can just hop on the gator and it takes me where I need to go.
Ah, nice. That's important. So thank you for causing us to lose all the ballroom dancers, saying that ballroom sucks, but it's okay. I'm happy that you didn't stay in ballroom.
Well, American ballroom. It's way too mercantile.
Okay, watch that. Thank you, Steven. And now, Sonya.
Hey, so yeah, I joined the West Coast Swing community to injure Steven. It went as planned. Okay, just kidding. Love you, Steven. This is the best thread ever. I think Steven and I are gonna have a lot of back and forth, and Alyssa is gonna just be in the middle trying to separate us. No, so I was actually pretty good at school, and I thought it was really boring. So I was looking for something stimulating to do, and I started dancing, and I was like, "Wow, this is really hard. I have absolutely no talent or physical strength or coordination or flexibility." So I was like, "That's definitely for me." Uh, so I started studying dance, and then I actually started being a salsa professional, and I liked it. And actually, my absolute dream was to travel the world and teach dance weekend. And I had a great partner in Montreal. And just as we were breaking through, like starting to have our first contract, airfare paid and everything, I discovered West Coast, and I was like, fuck this shit. I don't know if I can swear on this platform, but I'm doing it right now. And
It's okay, worst
Go
case
ahead, we don't
scenario.
mind, swear as much as you want.
Okay.
Yeah, Andy's gonna get a strike from YouTube. It's okay. Go on.
So yeah, I just left salsa and started to do West Coast, and it's definitely my favorite partners dance. And yeah, I went to Europe, and everything went awesome over there. Met Steven, then we had our partnership that I think most people know of, and now I'm sitting in Fort Worth during a pandemic. That's about it.
Well, Sonia, if you're already on it, why don't you tell us what you have been doing since the shutdown, since March last year?
Yeah, well, first off, I actually just uploaded on my TikTok, so you can go on my TikTok. It's my full name, My Journey Through Pandemic, and you'll find a lot of really fun videos.
Nice.
But yeah, at first I was just going crazy, doing a bunch of weird challenges online with my chair, because everybody was doing the koala challenge with their partner, and I was like, "Fuck you! I don't have a partner. I'll do it with my chair." And yeah, just doing school, and I started to train hardcore for pole dancing, and now I've been building that challenge for the month of March. I've been putting out like crazy. So if anybody isn't interested, for sure, 30-day movement challenge for the month of March. So the concept is for everybody that's been bored in their house for a year and not motivated to train, I'm going to put one video a day for 30 days of different topic for training. And actually, Alyssa is coming on the live stream on the third Sunday of March to answer some
Nice.
questions also. So yeah, there'll be awesome live guests. And yeah, just join me if you have any questions. Make sure you ask, and you can write me anytime.
How can they join? How can people join?
So they can go to sonyadance.com and they register and they
Mhm.
find 30-day movement challenge series. And it's actually $50, so one class a day for an entire month.
Cool. Great. Thank you very much, Sonya. And now back to you, Stephen. What have you been doing lately?
Sorry, you caught me mid-typing there. I was like just about to write that, damn, I've spent more than that on tacos in a month. Okay, so what I've been doing, I've kind of went through a number of things during the whole pandemic stuff. Like I bounced between doing some online classes. I got more involved with Hugo and Stacy's studio district dance, and I got less involved with it. A friend of mine who also works with me, does pro-am, bought some rental properties in Florida, so I've been helping manage those. I've been learning a lot about handyman stuff. Like I'm currently filthy right now, and you can't tell because this is just audio and not video, because I was doing like lawn care. Yes, I am. Lawn care and
Well, but
patching walls and stuff.
that's always accurate. So.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really deny that one. That's true.
Okay.
But because I haven't actually had any like real avenues to dance with people consistently, I've been kind of focused on my own dancing. Like every now and then I'll post my little half solo, half shadow dancing practice videos out there. Just kind of focusing on the things that I like out of dance and movement without trying to filter it through that thing of like what's going to actually be successful on the dance floor, because money hinges on that for me. And trying to ignore existential dread, and that about sums up my whole pandemic experience.
Okay, sounds about right. Sounds about right. Thank you very much, Stephen. Alyssa, how's your pandemic been?
Me tell you, it has just been a real treat. Honestly, it's the most I've ever slept, and that's been really
Okay.
nice. Like I have been sleep deprived apparently for 27 years, and this year has been easily my healthiest year. I have not gotten sick except for like a day of like congestion, but other than that, like, who knew sleeping 8 hours a day was a good thing?
Sleeping 8 hours a day keeps COVID away.
And friends and everything else.
Or
That's
not.
fine.
Yeah. And social life. And, yeah.
Well, I mean, thankfully, social life just kind of went to the wayside. Anyways, honestly, like for the first little bit, because I was living in a house with my boyfriend, my partner, and then Dylan, who is actually my ex-boyfriend and ex-partner.
Okay.
So it was a really interesting combination of humans.
Yeah,
we,
definitely.
like, for the first couple of weeks, we like did a movie night every night and had a projector and like set up like it was like a fun little camp almost. And then when we realized like, oh no, this is gonna be long term, then things changed. And we all started working in different ways. It is a great reality TV show. You have no idea, Stephen.
Are you filming it? When's it going to be on? And which channel?
In the year 3000. But honestly, like it's the most time I've ever been able to spend working on my personal social dancing. Working with Tim a lot. We practiced a lot for the first couple of months. Like every day we'd be dancing. because I turned my living room into a studio. And so that was a really cool experience, just to like dive really, really deeply into my own social dancing and my own movement. I also hit the ground running on my Patreon. Thanks, Steven, for that. But
Yeah,
as soon
true.
as shit went sideways and shut down, I had already been planning to do a Patreon, and then this just kind of expedited the process. So went online and did a bunch of online stuff. I will add a link for you, Helen, when I'm done talking.
Yeah,
'Cause I
that'd be
can't
awesome.
multitask.
Thank you.
Um,
What? You can't? Oh my god.
No, in dancing, yes. In life, definitely not.
I always thought that all women can multitask and us men were just screwed.
One-track minds. But other than that, I've been being outside as much as possible and like hiking a lot and working out a lot, dancing a lot. I started cooking and baking. And then recently I did not start an OnlyFans. Recently I started doing school to be a personal trainer. And so I got my personal trainer's cert actually a couple months ago. So I'm going to be starting that as another side career, which is exciting. And I'm doing various specializations for that now as well, which has been really, really awesome to learn about. And the human body is amazing. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
That's cool. That's really cool. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're gonna start with the questions from our audience. I have a question coming in here from John from the UK. I've been practicing at home lately, and I'd like to feel myself to check my improvement, but I'm just too self-conscious to watch myself dance. Do you have any tips for John from the UK?
I got one.
I was sure
Go
he
ahead,
said
Steven.
feel himself. I was like, you want to feel yourself? Yes, I can help, maybe.
Okay.
Okay, so
Thank you, John.
I got a smart ass one, and then I have a real one. So, like, take the smart ass one with a grain of salt, okay? Good. I'll assume that was a yes. Smart ass one is pay one of us to do it for you.
Yeah.
Exactly. We offer those services. But otherwise, if you're self-conscious about watching yourself dance, I recommend like proprioception. Try and gauge what the movement feels like, figure out what the range of motion you're trying to improve is, and see if you can get a little bit more in touch with improving the quality of how you feel the things rather than just what they look like. Ultimately, you're still going to have to like buckle down and look at some videos, but if you can get a little bit more in touch with the feeling itself, you can limit the amount that you actually have to go back and watch the videos or pay one of us to watch them for you.
Nice. Cool
I
idea.
think if you can change the mindset also, because honestly, it doesn't matter if you're newcomer or champion level. If you don't like watching yourself dance, you're not gonna like it more if you're more advanced. So it's really working on your psychology around that and the mindset. And sometimes I like watching old videos for two things, because first you can just see it and be like, wow, I look like shit, and feel that you look better right now. So it's already a good thing. And then the second thing that might happen
Been there, done that.
second thing that might happen is that you look at it and you go, oh, that was actually not that bad. Like, I often feel like when I see a video right after I danced it, I'm like, oh, that was horrendous, this is wrong, and then I watch it a month later or whatever, and I'm like, oh, that's actually a good video. So just, letting time do its thing.
And like to add on to that, watching it with the mindset of what did I do well versus what did I do poorly really helps, where like I'll teach my students, and I do this for myself too, because I have a critical mind specifically for me and my movement. And rather than watching it and going like, oh, I know I messed up there, I bet it looks terrible, I'm going to go, oh, like what about the things that I did really well, or the things that I've been working on that show my improvement, or the things that I just really like about what I'm doing and the choices I'm making. So focusing on your positive first. The negative is still going to be there, and it's probably going to pop up because that's often our presetting. But being able to focus on the positive and go like, here's what I did well, and I'm proud of that.
Lisa, has it ever happened to you, like you're saying, focus on the positive as well, or start with the positive? Has it ever happened that you are like so unsatisfied with the video, or just like you couldn't focus on the positive?
There's almost always at least one good thing.
Okay,
Almost
that's an
always.
important saying.
Like in every dance, for every person out there, like you can have someone who is maybe a challenging person to watch. Maybe they have a lot of technical issues, but maybe something about the way they interacted with their partner is just beautiful. And like that is super positive. So it doesn't just have to be, oh, my individual movement. Maybe it's something they bring to the partnership. Maybe it's an energy they add to the floor, right? There's always going to be something good. It's just a matter of opening your mind so that you see all the potential things that could be good.
I'm gonna totally use that as a technical feedback next time I judge and people ask me, I'll say you were a little challenging to watch.
No, don't. Okay. Oh my God, Sonya. Yeah, Steven's also gonna take that. Okay, thank you for that. But to be serious, like Alyssa, that was beautiful what you said, because like just thinking about, okay, there's always something beautiful, there's always something good. That's a super important thing. I think as like personally, I'm also very self-conscious and I'm also very, very critical of myself. But yeah, if I think, okay, what did I do right? It's definitely helpful. And I agree with Sonya what you said about watching it a month later. It happened to me lately that I just sent a video of mine to someone. And I was like, yeah, actually, it wasn't that bad as I thought back then.
Mm-hmm.
So I see we have two more questions coming from Helen from Germany. We have one. I see all three of you as very welcoming and open-minded pros. How do you think we can make the community more welcoming and safe for beginners and minorities after the pandemic? Great question, Helen.
Yeah, I'd like to do a shout out. I don't know if you guys saw what Samantha Buckwater posted, I think yesterday, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
She posted a great, anyway, it's a pretty long post, but the gist of it is, do you do something when you see something, or you're too caught up in your status, even for us, like, oh, I can't say anything because I don't want to lose my gig, or, you're a beginner, so you say, I want to be nice to everybody. So yeah, what are you doing when you see something happens besides just being a nice person? Because, we're hoping anyway that we're all nice people. I think in here, we're pretty, as Helen said, like welcoming and open-minded, and we try to do our best.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, but sometimes it's the next step, like if I see something, do I help it? Am I really inclusive, or I'm just nice? Because that's two different things. And that's a hard thing to go back and check on yourself, because it doesn't mean that you meant well, that it was done well. So yeah, just checking back on my own actions and going, okay, I was nice. Was I inclusive? Am I aware of the cultural and social context I'm in, or I'm just comfortable with where I'm at in my status right now?
That's very wise. I agree with every word. Like really. Anyone want to add anything? Steven, Alyssa?
I don't really think I can add too much into that without violating some of the rules that you guys have set for this. So
Okay.
I'm going to say, like, I'm more than happy to talk with people about that one-on-one if they do want to dive more into the specifics of how I see that happening and becoming effective. But I will say that, definitely everything in Samantha's post is great. And that idea of, like, if you see something, say something. And I think us getting comfortable with confronting uncomfortable things is going to be a very important part of that kind of thing, a welcoming and safe community. Because sometimes you have to put yourself into some uncomfortable spaces to make sure that it is a comfortable experience for everyone. And like, I'll just stop myself there.
Thank you for that. Alyssa,
Yeah,
do you want to add
I think
something?
within just leadership in the community, there has to be people in those roles who either have like a person who is added to leadership whose main job is being welcoming and safe for those people that are new or people who are minorities, and having like almost a liaison um for that in all the various communities. Because I recognize that is a thing that will be, I really hope, changing tremendously when things start to slowly crawl back. Because it needs to be changed. Something needs to be different there.
I really hope so. I really hope that this pandemic would actually have a good effect on those things eventually, because I hope that everyone would remember why we're here, because we're here for the community and because people here are so great. That's what keeps us here. And I think that if we focus on that and on just like being people, being human and friendly and welcoming to each other, as you said, I think that's definitely the key, in my opinion. So we have another question from Anonymous. I'm really missing dancing with a partner. So even though I know it's not safe to go to a social where I live, since we have so many cases in my area, I'm still contemplating whether to take the risk. What do you think?
Oh, don't do it. I'll start. Sorry if anyone else was gonna start.
Yeah, go ahead. That was a strong opening anyway, so go ahead. You gotta back it up now.
I mean, I both, dear Anonymous, I both get it and I don't get it, because I live with my partner, and so I have been dancing with a partner pretty regularly, and so I don't get that, and so I'm very sorry that you're dealing with that. And might I recommend finding another human who is a partner of the opposite role that you dance in, and like maybe practice with that person, check in to see what their precautions are, if they're in a pod, if they're safe, etc., and then have a practice partner. I know a lot of my students have like a practice pod or a practice group, but they're all very safe and open about the precautions that they're taking, and a lot of them get regular tests. But I highly recommend find some folk in your community that you can have a safe type of pod social dance with. And I don't mean social dance, but like create a pod, stay safe, but make it a pod of dancers like that. That way you can basically still be able to practice and not be adding to the risk.
Nice, that's a really good idea. Steven, Sonia, do you guys have anything to add?
I wrote mine. It was just faster.
I think also like it depends on where you're at, because I know even what Australia have had some events, so definitely check the rules where you're at, and yeah, make the decision for yourself, knowing that it absolutely can affect a lot of people around you. So having the conscious of that, and I like Alyssa's idea a lot, because like in Montreal, for example, so now I'm in Fort Worth, so it's a little bit more relaxed. Like I haven't gone to a rave, although there are, but I can see a friend. But when I was in Montreal, it was for months and months, and they're still in it. It's complete lockdown, curfew. You cannot have a friend at your house. The neighbors are encouraged to call the police, which is complete. Anyway, it's a little exaggerated. So I was in
Yeah, that sounds exaggerated. Okay.
Yeah, and I was in my half basement apartment like all winter, and totally, I was so bad. I was literally, my ideas were really, really dark, if I'm honest. Um, and if so sometimes you're so stuck in it, but even in that context, if I had just the idea of like, instead of all or nothing, is there one person, which, well, in Montreal doesn't seem possible, but is there one person I can contact and have that dancing and a little bit of touching also, because if you're really by yourself, you're missing the touch, because we all dance because we love dancing, but we love the social interaction also, we love the touch and everything. So yeah, I like the idea of just finding a middle ground instead of feeling like it's an all or nothing type of thing.
See, Justin, how are we doing with the time?
I think we can probably go until about 9:30 UK time or about 11:30 your time, Yuval. So
Cool.
another 20
Great.
minutes before the break.
Great. So I wanted to go to Mr. T's question because it seems like he was asking something about what we were just discussing. Mr. T says suggestions. Yeah, don't laugh. It's Mr. T. It really is him. Suggestions on how to find someone to dance with. I moved during the pandemic, and it seems absolutely impossible to find anyone to dance with right now.
Cities still have their West Coast Swing group, like West Coast Swing Montreal or Boston. And I'm sure you can do a post explaining, in the city group, like, hey, I'd like to find one person. I'm not ready to go social dance. Is there someone? And hope, something comes from that.
Okay, that's cool. That's always good. Post on Facebook, asking the groups. Steven, were you saying something?
No, I was just kind of clicking the button because I was undecided if there was anything of value I could add to that. And there's not.
The answer would usually be not.
It's always valuable.
It's always valuable, yeah, of course. Everything Steven says is valuable.
Mhm.
Right, Sonya?
Oh, you want my opinion on what you said? What?
No, I'm not sure it's too risky.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with Sonya and just say like, yeah, posting in the local groups, but also just like the network that we have, the West Coast Swing community, is pretty extreme. So if you post on Facebook and like tag a bunch of people, kind of the way like Chuck Brown does his posts where he tags a bunch of people, like they're gonna know other people that know other people that know other people that are gonna be people you can't reach necessarily. So I feel like posting on your own wall and then tagging a lot of people that you know and basically being like, hey, I'd love to get connected with one or two people in this area. Do you know folks? And have them private message me, slide into my DMs.
Or just ask Chuck because he knows everyone everywhere, so like he'll find someone for you.
Also a good option.
Now Chuck's gonna get a ton of private messages. Hey Chuck, thank me later, Chuck. So Marcus from Germany is asking, what's your favorite food?
Tacos.
Oh yeah, we got that one. How much do you spend on tacos?
Way too much.
I see. Like, how many privates do you need to? Never mind. Sonya, what's yours?
Well, it varies, but lately I've been trying to go towards a little bit more low carb, not crazy, but just switching a couple things. And I actually found a recipe, I promise, for keto chocolate croissant. And I could sell those for like $10 a piece. They're freaking amazing. And I've been eating like 6 of those a day. So I'll probably be the only person gaining weight on a keto diet, but still working for me.
Well, that's why you need the 30 days movement challenge. No.
Exactly, thank you.
Yeah, remember that, plugged it in. Alyssa, what's your favorite food?
My favorite food are eggs because eggs can do so many different things. They can be whatever you want them to be. And it's one of the main reasons I could never go vegan because I eat pretty clean. Other than that, I'm like vegetarian and I love broccoli. But like eggs are so good.
Yeah, I agree with that. How do you like your eggs usually?
Not raw.
Okay, that's important, of course.
I usually scramble them with like goat cheese or like cashew cheese or something. But I also like them over medium with the yolk a little runny. It's solid.
Do you guys have any favorite cuisine?
I thought
Japanese.
Sonya was going to mention the cheesecake flavor she had from earlier.
That's entirely That's entirely Justin's fault, by the way. That was his playlist, so I put it all on him. I do not take any responsibility for my actions.
I have no idea what's going on, so I'm going to be in full denial.
Everything's Justin's fault. So, okay, let's move to the next question from Kelly from the US. She's asking, what was the worst weather you've ever had at an event?
Okay, I know you were there, Sonya. Alyssa, were you at Summer Hummer that year?
No, I've not been there for the hurricane. Or I wasn't there.
It was a year. Yeah, hurricane.
That's exciting. Now I'm listening. Go ahead.
Oh man, that year at Summer Hummer, major hurricane hit. It knocked out the power for I think the entirety of Sunday. So I just woke up in the afternoon. All the lights are off, and there's people wandering the halls with flashlights. They literally did divisions with people holding flashlights so that people could dance, and they had like battery powered booms or something playing the music. That's hands down the worst event weather I've ever seen. I had to wait there till Tuesday, I think. What's up?
Steven, I wasn't there. Who was the woman you were with? Can I be jealous? Like, we weren't even together at that event.
Wait, really? I totally thought that we were competing at that one, or maybe really was it that
Maybe
one?
Maybe it was because there was no electricity. You didn't see.
That could be. Oh my god, was I still partnering Sabrina then? Holy shit!
I think you were, because I know I wasn't at that summer.
Oh damn. Okay, so yeah, I'm old and forget stuff. Well, that's my worst event weather story then.
And okay, Alyssa.
Oh man, my memory is garbage. But the one that I sticks out the most to me is I went to Moscow Christmas camp in January, and being in
sounds
Russia,
promising.
Being in Russia in January, when I am a California born and bred girl, and I live in a very temperate climate, and I thrive in a very temperate climate, and I just remember Moscow Christmas camp lasted a week, and we were in the middle of, it seemed like nowhere, and it was snowing the entire week. There was so much snow. The food, I lost 10 pounds that week because it was like balls of mystery meat, and I was like, I don't know what this is. That's probably why I became a vegetarian, to be honest.
Okay.
Anyway, it was so cold. That was the main theme of this question.
Mystery
It
meat.
was so cold. I thought I was going to lose my hands when I was walking from the car to the airport.
Oh wow.
I thought my hands were going to get chopped off.
Whoa. I know that feeling. I had it once, but not at an event. It was like trekking in Nepal. Never mind.
Yeah.
That's irrelevant. There's Sonya.
I don't know. I think my worst temperature was because we were in Latvia, and I was already really sick, like cold or flu or something. And they had a problem with the hotel. So we were in a super nice hotel, but it was a little further. And then there was an event in the city, so we couldn't have an Uber. So Steven had a bicycle, and I was like, I cannot even bicycle right now, which normally I love. And there was no Uber, so I had to walk in the rain. Insert violent sound here as I was sick or something. So I think that was the worst weather, but nothing too bad, And every time, before I started traveling, I thought the worst thing would be to be sick, as I'm traveling. And then as I was traveling, I was like, you know what? I could be sick at home, or I could be sick in a new place. So at least I'm in a new place.
But no one had super hot weather that was really bad, right?
I mean, I've experienced it Israel in summertime for Swing It Like It's Hot. It's a very appropriately named event.
Yeah, and there was once I actually thought about it now. One time at Swing It Like It's Hot, the air conditioning didn't work.
Yep, I was there that year.
Well,
that was a fun time.
Yeah. Reminded
I
you
mean,
of home, or?
Oh no, it doesn't get hot in San Francisco. Not like that.
Maybe I should move to San Francisco then.
Yes.
I'm from Florida.
Mike-
Nothing's gonna get worse than that.
I don't know. Let's
Fair.
try Cambodia next time. So Cambodian Open
Oh,
in March.
fair.
I think Michael Getze wants to ask a question in his own voice. Michael, go ahead.
Yeah, hey guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. And just to all the people listening on Facebook or YouTube, you are missing out on all the best parts of this. I just wanted to let you know. Anyway, my question is, at most events in Europe, we don't have a Champions Jack and Jill. We have an Invitational Jack and Jill for just the staff, which usually is fine because like sometimes the staff are only all-star level themselves. But I noticed like at Budapest this in 2020. There were a lot of really champion level competitors in the All-Star Jack and Jill because they had this staff Jack and Jill instead of Champions Jack and Jill. So I just wanted to ask how you guys feel about that sort of thing. Like, when do you think events in Europe should start having actual Champions Jack and Jills? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Oh yes, I have a thought. They should
Go
start
ahead.
having. They should start having Champion Jack and Jill like about 5 years ago. And the reason
Great answer.
and the reason I say this is because like champion is a level, like there's definitely, when I got to all-star, I thought like probably a lot of all-stars, I'm like, yeah, I'm almost to champs, like let's make it like no difference, all-star champs, let's go. There's so much that comes into it, and there's a difference in level for sure, but honestly there's so much about the politics and everything around it, and I feel like there's so many now. At first you had no all-star in Europe like 8 years ago, then you started having a few, then now you have a lot of all-stars that are freaking amazing dancers, and if they had the opportunity to be in a Champion Jack and Jill, then they could actually get points and call themselves champions. But now because they don't have the opportunity, they can't go in, right? Because it's invitational or staff. So at the same time, I love the idea of the invitational Jack and Jill or staff Jack and Jill because it showcases everybody, and I think it's super important. But I also love the idea of having a champion Jack and Jill, so Europeans that definitely have the level can start jumping in and being champions.
Yeah.
And definitely Alyssa also, yeah, if they can come to the US, if it's a possibility.
Exactly, but the problem being like that is expensive, and there's really no guarantee. Like it's hard enough for US champs to make a final half the time.
Yeah, word.
Yeah.
So like it's a crowded market basically over here in that type of competition.
Yeah, I was trying to think if I had anything to actually add to any of that, because it's a multifaceted issue. Like, and I feel like too much of it is perception rather than reality. It's like there's some people in, like, say, New Zealand or Australia, even, where they're like they don't even have the same kind of access that the Europeans have, but the quality of dance is still there. So yeah, I don't really. I almost feel like the answer in that regard is to value the designation a little bit less than the quality of the person. And I say person specifically rather than just dancer.
Yeah.
All right, thanks so much, guys.
Thank you for that, and thank you, Michael, for asking. Now we have a question coming from Poland. Julia is asking, from all the countries you still haven't visited, which one you'd like to visit most?
I'll go first on this one then, because like that's an easy one for me. I've never actually gotten to go to really any of the Asian countries, so like never been to Singapore or Japan. So I'd love an opportunity to eventually go to one of those places.
Yeah, definitely. Mine as well. Go ahead, Sonya, Alyssa, who wants to go next?
So, I would love to go to Brazil. I was meant to go there, I think like 3 or 4 times now at this point, and every time it just didn't quite work out. And I really want to go there. The people there are just so lovely, and I've seen and heard such wonderful things. So that is pretty high on my list.
For me, like before pandemic, actually, I had a good timing because I was going through my bucket list, and going everywhere I've always wanted to go. And I did, like Easter Island and all these weird places. But the one place that I still have and I didn't go is Croatia. So definitely the next one.
Ooh,
Oh, good.
nice. So you've already been to Easter Island.
Easter Island is like, it was, so high in my mind that I thought maybe I'll be disappointed when I get there. It's the best thing that ever happened in my life. It was freaking
Oh.
magical.
Nice. It sounds like it. I mean, I've never been there, but it sounds like a really cool place to be. And I agree, Stephen. Like, I want to go to Singapore. I want to go to East Asia, go dance there. I've only
Singapore
been
is
to India.
one of my favorite countries for sure.
I heard so much about Asian Open. Not promoting the event, Z. Thank you. But yeah, I really want to go there.
You're like, Z, we're here to dance. Let us in.
Exactly. We'll be knocking on the airport door or something. See how that works out for us. We have a question from Mr. T. How would you compare dancing in the US versus Europe versus Asia? Oh, wow. What should people keep in mind when visiting each continent? Okay. Good luck.
Well, I have a short answer for that one. Like we've been doing with Tara, we haven't done one in a while, but we've been doing a page that's called International History of West Coast Swing because we thought like we hear the history of West Coast Swing through the States because that's where it's from, but we never hear then how it developed elsewhere. And we always ask that question to the pros we have on. So we have a couple episodes on the page now, and you can hear like some of the pros talk about in Canada and France and what they think about it.
Nice. Anyone else wants to go?
Yes, Steven wants to go.
I really want to hear Steven.
Go
I was
ahead,
waiting to
Steven.
see. So I can only compare between U.S. and Europe because obviously, like I just said, I want to go to Asia, but and again, this is just my perception of the thing, right? This is probably not the entire reality. It's just my personal perception, having worked in both places and danced in both places. So for me, it feels like the U.S. is just entirely more entitled about how they interact and dance with each other. So like if I'm dancing in the US, I walk into the ballroom with the expectation that these people are going to feel like they're owed dances with me. And that's going to be my experience for the night, that it's going to be very like, I got to do you dance with me, and I'm never going to get a break. In Europe, it just feels so much more chill. Like I can hang out, I can talk with people, I can dance, I can actually ask people to dance. And I feel like, again, just me, I feel like when I look around that experience is kind of universal. Like I feel like I see a lot of other people that experience it that same way as well.
Nice. So
yes,
that's
go to room parties.
go to room parties, yeah. Well, it's good to hear that you feel safe in Europe. Alyssa.
Yeah, I like that, Mr. T, that you included US, Europe, and Asia. And with Asia, I'd also lump Australia and New Zealand because it's technically the same continent. But I kind of agree with Steven on the US front, and I find the US to be like a little bit more competitively driven, even in a social dance environment. Like you'll see people sometimes like looking at the people next to them dancing and be like, oh, like I gotta be better than that person. I also think it depends on what part of the US you're currently in. But people in the US are also just, they really like to dance and they're hard workers. In Europe, I agree, it tends to be a little bit more of that laid back social dance environment. and I like the culture of Europe in that like you can ask people for multiple dances and it's not weird. It's actually pretty common there, and that's not common in the US. That usually implies like you're interested in something else. And in Asia, I love the learning mentality that they all have over there. Like teaching in Singapore is one of my favorite things because the people there are just hungry. The Singaporeans take like the week that I'm usually there in Singapore, I see people taking lessons from every single pro there, sometimes multiple lessons, because they're just hungry for information.
Nice.
And so they work so hard. They work so incredibly hard, and it's amazing.
That's what I've noticed too about people in Singapore, like from those I met. But Alyssa, I always thought, like, I always heard that, from many people that actually in Europe and in Asia they're more competitive, but you feel like in the US they're more competitive, right?
I feel they're competitive in different ways.
What do you mean?
I feel like the US is competitive in like I need to be better than the people around me, and Europe is I need to be better than myself.
Okay, well.
Yes.
I see. I don't know if I should respond to the react, but okay. I'll leave it as it is. So, Justin, how are we doing with the time?
Yeah, I think it's a good time to take a break. So I think we do a one-song break
Okay.
from here. So just a quick warning for Andreas, you can switch on the elevator music on Facebook and YouTube. We see you after this short break in about 4 minutes' time. So Alyssa and everyone else can do stuff. I don't know why. That song was Heatwave by the Glass Animals, in case you've got to Shazam it or SoundCloud it. Could do a plug here. You can check out more of that on the WA list, which you can find on Spotify, YouTube, and even Telegram now. Anyway, enough plugging from me. Yuval, next question for the pros, please. I think we had Toppy, who was going to come on voice and chat to the guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
great. Okay, go ahead.
Hi guys. I have many questions, but one I actually already asked Alice. Alice already before, when now she's maybe missing a while, so I can ask you guys first. If you could, like, I feel like a lot of champions have some kind of superpower at dancing, like one thing that they are really good at. What superpower would you want to get from some other champion or peer of yours? If you could steal someone's like Ben Ass's musicality or whatever.
Wow, great question, Toppy. Who wants to go first?
I would like to steal Royston's ability to win.
Epic.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Oh my god, I think it's drop the mic. That's it. We're done, Justin. That's it. Okay, Sonya.
I would like to, and I would do it without any shame. I would totally steal Kyle's footwork and genius.
Like that. Alyssa.
Yeah, this is a really good question. I would say there's so many. Like all of our peers are just incredible, and like you said, everyone has these amazing superpowers. I think I would respectfully borrow Sarah's like incredible superhuman confidence and just ability to sell anything.
Yeah,
Like
wow.
her confidence and comfortability in front of a crowd is just like how
I think we have some echo here. Poppy, can you take care of that? We have some echo here. Thanks. And I'll steal this opportunity to ask a question of my own, actually. Yes, I can also do that. So I'll start with you, Alyssa. I want to ask all of you this question. What do you think your superpower is? What do you think makes you a great dancer?
so I've had this conversation with people, specifically John, actually. And so
Okay.
my answer is mildly influenced by what he thinks mine is. I think mine has to do with being able to absorb potential energy or power from a partner and then use it somewhere else.
Mm.
And it's not a thing I necessarily actively think about doing, but it's more subconscious. And then take that power and adapt it into something that's helpful or functional for the partnership.
And that's something you feel like you've always had.
I think I've trained it a lot over the many past years, but it's always kind of been there-ish. I don't know. I'm awkward talking about myself.
No, that was super honest. That was really great. That was really great to hear that. Steven, what's yours?
Oh man, I don't have any freaking clue what mine is. Like, I am so bad at my self-assessment stuff. I can tell you, like, other people have told me that they like my cleanliness and my lines and my body control and stuff like that. But like, yeah, no, I don't have any clue
Your
for
body?
myself.
Or never mind.
That too. Yeah,
I want to see
I'll let
Steven.
Sonya and Alyssa answer for me.
Oh wait, actually, Michael asked. He said, "I want to know what Sonya thinks Steven is," and I totally wanted to say it actually.
Say it.
What is
And I
body?
think,
No.
and I think because we know about the line, and some people have told you and everything, but for me, is really your ability to be an amazing bass while dancing. So I feel like sometimes you see people are really solid, but they're not really mobile, so they're not dancing through that bass. But I've always felt with you, I'm super solid. I can do anything. You're there for me, and you're still dancing at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Aw, thank you.
Are you crying, Steven? You okay? Okay. It's
He
okay.
doesn't have that function, Sonya.
That's why I muted the tears.
Okay.
Ah. Sonya, what's yours?
I think mine, it's actually really funny because I was learning salsa before as a partner dance, and I took it private at some point. And you have to remember salsa, it's changing a little bit lately because everything is influencing, from every dance. But before it was really, the leader leads, the follow follows. You can add a styling with an arm, but there's nothing else. And I was taking this private with this top dancer in Montreal, and he was like, "Okay, we finished the dance." He's like, "Could you say no?" I'm like, "Excuse me?" It's like, "Could you say no sometime? That's really fucking boring. Like, you're not putting anything of yours. You're just total blank slate. I can do anything with you." And I was like, "Damn, that's harsh, but it's true." Uh, and then I think that's what like West Coast allowed me to do is I felt like I could bring what I wanted to do, but I think my follow is really well ironed. So I think that my following is really smooth. I would say that's my superpower.
Yeah, I'm sure it was a hard question, and like I really appreciate your answers for that. I was personally super curious to hear what you guys think of yourselves because like you've probably heard a lot of things from people along the years, but I was like really curious to know how you see it. So thank you for sharing that. Really. We have a question from Ben from Canada. What was the best TV series or movie you've watched during the pandemic?
I've watched so many TV series. Y'all have no idea.
Do you have a favorite?
Queen's Gambit was solid. Connor and I went through The Marvelous Miss Maisel, and that was really great. I had to think. Sex Education is great. Very informative.
So is it good education? Do you recommend it? Show it to your kids and stuff?
I do not have children, but eventually.
Oh no, I meant like if you recommend people to show it to their kids.
I mean, probably not.
Okay. Steven, what's yours?
Oh.
Sonya, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I just started watching Schitt's Creek, and it's really as funny as the name. I had tried an episode earlier on, I didn't like it so much, but now I'm watching it and I'm freaking like rolling on the floor laughing every episode. Whoever wrote this show was a genius. Like everything is just in context and understated and overstated, and I love it.
Yeah, that one's on my list to watch.
You'll love it, Steven.
Shoot, I'm trying to think. Like, I kind of bounced back and forth in quarantine of like watching a bunch of stuff and not watching stuff, but I'm trying to remember any of them. I know I finished up like the last season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I thought they did that fairly well.
You watched Arrow?
Nah, I don't really like the DC stuff as much as like the Marvel ones. Somebody told me I should try out the DC animated things though. But
Don't bother.
Absolutely
awful. Waste of my life. That was awful. Don't bother. Sorry, I'm so passionate. Waste of my time. Sorry, DC fans. Absolute crap.
Oh yeah, Tiger King. I did definitely watch Tiger King. That shit was a wild ride. Oh my god. Oh, and he was super upset that he didn't get a pardon. I found that hilarious.
Also Mandalorian. Also the Mandalorian.
I have some more points. No.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead, Sonia. Sorry.
Nah, I'm just trying to think of the show they did with the narrating, like 2020. They did one short movie on Netflix, and it's the story of 2020, and it sounds completely freaking crazy because, well, they exaggerated, but it's exactly what happened in 2020. Like Death, I think it's called Death to 2020.
Yeah, right. I haven't watched it yet. Sounds like something very interesting.
There's one thing that I don't think any of us have mentioned, so I'm gonna like try this and see who gets it or not, because it's gonna be funny if it works. I don't know if this is gonna go through the mic though. Were you able to hear that?
No.
Damn. Okay. Wait, I'll try one more time, but I don't think it'll work. Hold on.
My farm in Utah pays for my
potato
farm. Which complicates
I have no idea what's going on right now.
Oh, damn it.
I just got it, and I'm not going to say what it is.
Okay, at least one person got it. I feel validated. That's fine.
I'll send you a video later that you appreciate. That's all I'm going to say. That sounded wrong. I'm just going to start.
Yeah, thank you, Justin. I hope no kids are listening to us. What's our next question, Justin?
We have Roger from the UK. He asked like 3 questions, but Roger, we have so many coming in and we haven't got much time left. So I've picked one of his questions, and he asked Stephen, Sonya, and Alyssa, going, will there be any events, competitions this year? ? And that's basically all he asked. So what do you guys think?
Will there or should there? Because there's still been like events the entire freaking time.
Answer both. There you go. To make it interesting, yeah. Answer both.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I'll just say something that when pandemic started, I researched back on worldwide pandemic, and when you go back in history, they were all 2 years, and I noted that in my head when this started, but for some reason or for the sake of my mental health, I was like, no, this one is going to be like next spring we can dance, and obviously not. So I think for things to settle down, it's going to be like every other pandemic, so 2 years. So good job, everybody. Halfway mark, high five, we can do this. But then for events, yeah, I mean, if you think I'm joking, like there's raves in Texas. I'm not exaggerating. Like it's full on. COVID doesn't exist. Does not exist.
Texas
you
has
can
everything,
go.
Though.
Yeah, you can be in a full on bar, like with people, no mask, jumping around, licking each other. That's completely fine.
Sonya, that's not even safe when there's no pandemic. Oh my God.
Really? That's what I was doing before, but I mean.
Right, yeah.
She's not lying.
So go on, just do it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
in
lick
Florida,
everyone
there's
with a
already
mask.
been like salsa events. There's a country western event that's gauging whether they're going to go in June or not. Ballroom events never stopped to begin with. They barely even bothered wearing masks. Depending on where you're at in the United States, people have really just not cared. So I don't think there should be events. I think it's wildly irresponsible. But I think there's going to be because people are just that apathetic.
I know there's a lot of folks that are like really missing dancing, and oh boy, we're right there with you. Like this is our job. But the longer,
Yeah,
the
more
longer
than anyone
folks-
else.
right, right. Like, oh, I miss an income. But like more than anything else, like for me, I'm not comfortable being in like promoting myself, being in a room full of 400 people swapping saliva or sweat or whatever liquid is coming out of their bodies, uh, and like switching partners every 5 minutes. Like that just feels so irresponsible. And so like I've mentally prepared myself for things not to be back for a couple more years, to be perfectly honest.
A couple more years from now.
I don't know.
Oh.
I mean, I thought I was going to be at events again this year at the beginning of last year. So like the beginning of the pandemic last year when events started canceling and then rehiring me for this year. It's like, yeah, that seems super reasonable. And then as the year went on, it was like, that does not seem reasonable anymore.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Most
I
things
think-
that happens the last year or so were not so reasonable. Hey, go on, Sonya.
Yeah, I want to say something because people are talking about the Russians also, but I want to say something of, if in your country every protocol and law says that and that's where your country is at, like the Russians, the Australians, I'm happy for them, honestly. Like if you can do it and things are fine in your country, freaking enjoy it for all of us. But yeah, just being, respectful of what's happening and the laws and the protocol and everything. So I don't know exactly what's up in Russia, but I'm happy for them if they can dance. And so far, I was, talking with some people, and honestly, they were saying most of them had it, but they're going through it, and it's kind of like the country's decision. Like that's how they roll with it. It's just like you guys do whatever, you're gonna catch it, herd immunity, whatever. So it seems like a totally different mentality in a different place. So I don't want to judge somewhere I'm not in and I don't know the full context. And I just want to be happy for the people who have the chance to dance.
Correct. I'm only judging the places I am in with context, but them I am judging greatly.
Exactly.
Stephen, we all know you're a great judge.
I try my best.
Not a merciful one, but an accurate one. And Sonia, yeah, I agree with your attitudes. Like, I don't think it's my place to judge people in other countries, and I try not to judge people in my country either. It's like, if they feel they want to take a risk or do something, like, it's not my responsibility. I don't want to take part in it if it's too risky, in my opinion. That's it. But I think like it's hard to say when events are going to be back. Like, for sure, it's really hard, and I probably feel kind of like you, Sonia, that it's gonna take one more year ish,
and
I
think,
hope the
like,
vaccines will help.
Yeah, I think it'll be one more year, and then like the local communities will be starting to be built up again. And for me, I know I'm going to do my darndest to invest in my local community and work on building that up. And it's going to be a while before, like, we're not going to have the issue we used to have of like, oh, there's 5 events in Europe on one weekend. Like that's not going to be a problem for a little while, I imagine, because we'll be slowly building up events again.
Yeah, probably. It's going to be interesting for sure. We have a question from Estelle Bonner. Oh, what is the first thing you would want to change in the community when we get back to it?
I wrote it in the chat, but I'll say it here because I think Estelle's watching on Facebook and can only hear like the audio. So the first thing I'd want to change, Estelle, is you actually being in the U.S.
We kind of want her in Europe too, but okay.
We'll
Her
take her back to
decision.
California.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I mean, honestly, just having like a break song every like 20 minutes for people to go change, like wash their hands.
Nice. Okay, that's important. Sonya.
I don't know. I just kind of have this weird image of like the only positive thing of if this lasts, way longer. I see kind of a like memory wash of everybody, so we can start with a blank slate and put the foundations right instead of trying to start with what we already had and then implement a little change. That's already what we were doing before. So why are we starting? It seems like everybody's trying to go back to what we had. So I'm just thinking, can we just rebuild an entire new system? Which is probably not going to happen unless West Coast Swing disappears for 10 years, which I don't wish also. So I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that.
I
entire
think
news.
that was a good answer.
Yeah,
I think
it
that's
was
great.
a great answer.
Yeah.
On a more serious note, I do think this affords us an opportunity to really look at a lot of the structures and systems we do have in place, including how we treat some of the more vulnerable in our community and how we handle situations that pertain to things like that. Like there's a lot of there's a lot of talks going on in the background about like how to deal with more social issues that you can't really deal with in a traditional legal sense, like if people are sexually harassing and doing that kind of thing. Like there's an issue with that Troy Robinson guy that keeps cropping up where there's a lot into that. But hopefully when we go back into actually having the community in the sense that we had it previously, we can have more things in place where more people are empowered to do more things that help other people.
100%, Steven. And Sonya, like, I don't think we have a lot of time, but I'm really curious to hear, like, what do you think you're saying change the system? What are the things you would change? Like, if you can elaborate a bit on that.
That's why I said like I'm not so clear with my answer because I don't feel like it's even that way because we keep trying to think of things to change, but why just build something like take a pile of, mud and bricks and whatever and rebuild the community, with the awesome people that we are and make it be something. I mean, I want to give shout out to Ben McHenry because I feel like he always has these freaking crazy cool ideas that are so out of what is being or what was being done that it was never really a time to implement it or it was complicated. So I feel like, he's a brain that, has that creativity to put that on the floor and make something completely new appear when we come back instead of changing one thing or
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much for that. Amy from the East Coast is asking, if you couldn't be a dancer, what would you love to do? No one wants to answer that. Okay.
That's a hard one. That's like
I know.
I feel like all of us are dancers, not because it's like, oh, we consciously chose and decided, oh, we're going to do this dance thing. I feel like a lot of us, especially as professionals, are dancers and made it as dancers because we didn't really have any other options that we were passionate about. Like we had to do this thing. If I couldn't be a dancer, I would probably just actually start the OnlyFans I keep talking about because that makes a lot of money if you do it right.
Actually,
Okay.
I'm already converting, so I'm a pole dancer. Just take the dancer out. Just say I'm a polar, and that's
A
what
pole.
exactly. I'm a pole.
No,
That's
don't
what I
say
would be
that.
doing.
Oh my god. Alyssa, save us, please.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a dancer because I have no other talent or skills. No,
Oh.
I'm kidding. I mean, I am also a personal trainer now. My secondary plan was like go back to school and become a physical therapist because the human body is really fascinating to me. And there's so many things to it which I love. So honestly, like that's probably what I would do if I wasn't a dancer. I'd also probably just go be a nomad and live on the road and hike a lot and backpack and be a total hippie because that sounds great.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, that's like.
I feel like I should clarify what I meant slightly.
Maybe, yeah, that could be a good
Yeah.
idea, Stephen.
I kind of meant that more in the sense of like it's actually very difficult to be a professional dancer. So if it's not something you're super passionate about and something you have this
Yeah.
intense desire to do, you're not gonna do it. You spend so long being broke and tired and exhausted and like all kind of stuff happening that you have to love the thing so much. Like so I'll just say personally, I can't picture myself as being many other things than a dancer because like that's how it is in my head. Like I'm sure there's other things I could do, like even like I said jokingly with the OnlyFans, but I'm sure there's other things I could do. Like I'm doing the property management thing right now, but I don't really picture it that way. But just for me personally.
Like, you don't think you would have been a real estate agent or something?
Nah, I'd have sucked at that.
Imagine Steven being a real estate agent. Okay, that would be cool. Or not. I don't know. We have one before last question. It was actually the most popular submitted question we got tonight, today, whatever time it is in your time zone. Push, pass, or whip?
Okay, I can go.
Thank you.
Definitely sugar push for me because I know whip is more has more elements and maybe more opportunities, but I found sugar push to have like everything you need for your baseline West Coast swing, and you can do so much with it, and you can be so creative. And it's just like Steven and I, we used to do that, and other people also just do full songs of only sugar push, and it's just it's so yummy. I go back to my sugar push all the time. I'm never done with the sugar push.
Okay. So it sounds like
I'm
a great
done with the
dance.
sugar push. Sugar push is the last one for me. Usually for me it's a tie because I love like left side passes are my favorite. I love a left side pass. Selfishly, like it's not one that has all the elements of West Coast swing because it doesn't have compression at a base. But I love like a yummy, delicious left side pass and a whip that is
Nice.
like that lets me hang into a four and just like has elements of a basic Lindy Hop swing out. That like a left side pass and that kind of whip, I'm just like in heaven.
I mean, they had such good answers. I kind of feel bad now for saying whip just because it makes a good joke.
Now you kind of nail it.
I mean, I don't know.
Steven, have you ever thought maybe, like, if you weren't a dancer, professional dancer, would you want to be a stand-up comedian?
You know, I actually had thought about that, but when I try to be funny, I'm not really that funny. It has to be a very spontaneous thing for me.
So you'd be a stand-up comedian and you wouldn't know when your shows are at. Like they would just drag you in from somewhere and like put you on the stage.
Exactly. It would have to be entirely based on me having conversations with the audience. Like, if I could be a Facebook comedian, that would be amazing. I would do great with that. But,
Nice. That's a new profession right there. Facebook comedian. So our last question, our traditional finishing question. What's your best memory of each other?
God. What were the rules of what we couldn't talk about again?
Try not to violate them. I'm not gonna tell you. That's a challenge. Go.
Oh crap. Someone else can go first.
Go. So with Alyssa, definitely putting up the Westie Goddess retreat together, because I feel like we had crossed each other at different events and had fun, like quick conversation and everything. But that weekend we really got to be together and just with the other girls also. And it was, I don't know, for me it was really heartwarming. Like I felt like I was part of an amazing group of women, and we're gonna make more memories in April. Alyssa, we gotta talk.
Yeah.
And with Steven, there's so many, and I know it's gonna sound super cheesy, but really, it's just like I really love this guy. Like whatever happened, and we had so many great moments. And like the general is just that he was always there for me, no matter what happened, no matter if it was his birthday, and I was going through something, he was there all the way through. And just a fun one is that we went skydiving to celebrate something when we were not together. Like we'd already been separated and everything. We're like, yeah, let's go celebrate together and skydive. So yeah.
Aww.
Aww. Totally love that.
Oh,
You want to go,
sorry,
Alyssa?
Sure, I'll go. Sonya, that was also like a lovely memory that I have with you. The other one being, you were with me on my very first strip club experience, and so that's just a good memory for me. I think we were in Montreal, and that was many, many years ago at this point. But I'm not going to elaborate.
No, please don't.
Thank you, Ethan. Woohoo!
I love that. I knew you then, and I know you so much better now due to just running an event together and spending more time together. And I love that our relationship has taken the journey that it has, and we're where we are at now. It's really cool. And with Steven, oh, I've known you both for so long. With Steven, one of my favorite memories was actually, I think it was Berlin. And Christian was there, but he's gone now. But we went out with Dirk and Ella and John for drinks in Germany, and we got very toasty. And it was just like a fun night. And I remember you were hanging out in the hotel room with me and John afterwards, and we just had like a really lovely time just sitting and chatting and laughing a lot. And so that was just like a really fun, more like friend moment. And then the other moment that gets me into trouble is the Finland dance that we had at FinFest to, I think it was Pony. And that's just a memory that is for the world to see on YouTube. And that was just a good memory of like, oh boy, what was I thinking? But I'm so glad it was with you.
I'm definitely gonna watch that one now.
Oh my god. And like, so adding on to that one, the funny thing about that memory is we both forgot. We both completely did not remember that we'd had that dance for so freaking long. And then like just someone mentioned it, it popped back up. So obviously I start sharing it out, and Alyssa's like, no, not my mother.
What?
Yeah,
Okay.
her mom saw it because I put it on Facebook. Sorry about that, Alyssa. So my other favorite memory there, because I've known both of them for so long. Oh, there's the video. Somebody posted the video. That's great. Don't look at my hair. It's amazing. The other favorite memory I have with Alyssa is we actually got to share a room in Australia together, working at an event out there, and I just have like really good memories of getting closer with Alyssa during that and sharing the time and lots of good deep conversations. Like I love that kind of experience. And like with Sonya, oh my god, like all the memories we have. So I feel like we have a lifetime of memories in however many years that we were together, and most of them are good. It's even some of the more bittersweet things, they're still good because we learned from them. And, I love you very much too. So going away from the sappier kind of stuff, I will tell the memory that I have of how I first hit on Sonya before
Oh
we were
God.
actually
Oh
together,
God.
because this is amazing. So I have like actually no game whatsoever. When I was trying to flirt with Sonya, I was I think I was kind of unsure if she was dating someone at the time, so I just kind of shot my shot. She was actually dating someone at the time, turns out, but I
Did you
asked
stole
her.
her from him?
Oh no! This was a delayed process. Like I said, I have no game. I had to like woo her with my awkwardness at the time.
So you would say it was a delayed one.
Nice.
Yes. But so the line I threw to her after like us dancing late night or something was, "Hey, would you like to go practice technique later in the room?" And Sonya's response to this was, "Oh, yeah, sure. Absolutely. Let's do it. I love to practice." She was like, "Yes, let's go practice." She completely took me literally and seriously. So I'm going in my head like, "Oh, I screwed that up. Oops.
Wait,
Oh, damn it."
I was way too enthusiastic. Like I think I went back to him on the weekend while I'm sleeping with this other guy, and I'm just like, "Hey, anytime you have, like, if you'd like to practice, I'd be super up for it." And he's like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was Melissa that eventually like clued you in, right?
Yep, she was like, "Are you not like what's happening with you?" She's like, "Practicing in the room with him alone." I'm like, "Oh."
Oh, that kind of practice.
Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, I suck at pickup lines, and eventually it all kind of worked out though.
Yeah,
I
so
feel like
maybe
you
it
just
was a
played the
great
long
pickup
game.
line.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Uh, oh, great. That's a great thing to end on, I think. Oh, thank you so much for that. Justin, back to you.
I did have a script to finish, but I'm blown away, not literally, by the by
what can
that
you say after
story.
that?
You are welcome.
Thank you, Stephen. But thank you guys.
Is DJ here yet, by the way?
No, he hasn't arrived. He's still working out Discord. But basically, thank you guys. Without you three, with such entertaining stories, such engaging answers, I want to say thank you to all three of you. Massive thank you to Yuval, Topi, and Andreas. Behind the scenes, these three guys have been messaging me, been holding it together. Everyone that's listening on Facebook and also YouTube, there's about 20 on there. There's about 50 or 60 here. So thank you for coming tonight. Really appreciate it. Yuval, I'm going to let you finish because I don't know how to follow that, really.
Thank you so much, really. Thank you, Justin. You did an awesome job here. And thank you, Alyssa. Thank you, Sonya. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you so much. That was awesome. I had a fantastic time here. Oh my God. I can't remember when I laughed so hard. And it was also touching. So thank you very much for that.
Yes,
Thank
book
you
my
too.
challenge. That's the best. That's the best queue ever. So no, for real, I did that so it'd be super cheap for everybody who wants to train and move. and do something for the month of March. And it's just 10-30 minutes a day, every day. Alyssa is going to be on, Estelle's going to be on, Tashina and Megan Dupre is going to be awesome. So please join. And yeah, thanks for having us.
I think what
Thank
we're
you so
Thank you
doing,
very much.
what we do, we get all the links from you guys for your stuff. If Stephen has something, Alyssa has something, and Sonya, we get those links up somewhere so people know where to go, somewhere on the Discord server. So if they want to do your things, they can as well. But thank you guys. You've all been awesome.
Thank you very much to everyone who was watching, was listening to us. That's like really, it's all for you guys, really. So a huge shout out to everyone who's listening on all channels. That's like the most important thing for me here. Thank you so much for that.
Awesome. We're going to play 3 songs to finish up. Andreas, you better put the elevator music on YouTube and Facebook. And we'll see you again. This is not the last one we're going to do. See you later and goodbye.